Look, self-made entrepreneur, no manure, I'm number one. Goose down, jacket, maverick, top gun. Do it B.I.G. like Biggie, big pun. Look, people Knievel, I'm trying to stunt. Polo the horse, alligator, Lacoste. Ragu, Alfredo basil, I'm dripping sauce. I just want that mozzarella, boy, by any cost. Try to stop me, I'ma dot your top, Mikhail.
Welcome to the David L. Moore podcast. I'm your host, David L. Moore, and these are fine young gentlemen that I've known for a long time, even went to high school with, as you can see. I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah, that's where we went. Got Coach Ted, Buck T, also known as Mr. Septillion. We were just getting into a heated discussion. It was all good. I said, I'm going to hit the record button. Gentlemen, continue.
Well,
I'm not with President Big Baby. Big Baby's out here having an identity crisis, bro. He woke up wanting to be a thug one day. You know what I'm saying? And people who be lying to him like, yeah, you know you're a thug. Shorty want to be a thug. Then he start banging on cats, dog. That's where we at now.
You know, I had not looked at it from that point.
I mean, honestly, think about it, bro. Businesses that he's done, with the business that he's done, he's been thugging it for a long time. He's been in them trenches for a long time, taking folks' money.
So would you say
that's what he's about?
He's a true Queens nigga? Queens get the money?
Oh yeah, he true Queens niggas getting money, bro. Think about it. Think about how much money he done made. Think about how much money he done made in this 1 year. He bullied, listen, he gonna cut the taxes, right? He gonna cut the taxes for businesses, employer taxes, right? And bullied Intel into giving us the money back. If you don't take this deal, you won't make now another chip for the United States ever, no computer. He bullied them people into doing that. And they said, oh, okay, yes, sir.
But they just show you how soft we done become. Entrepreneurial Americans would have told him, fuck off. That's what you want to do.
I would agree.
In the 20s and 30s and the 1800s, they would have, man, he came in there clapping and stuff. Man, hey, bro, we got to see him.
Hey, but you got to remember.
Well, that's why they've been trying to kill him. I don't know if that's fake or not.
But here's the thing, though. Look at the difference in time. As time goes on from the 20s and 30s, look at how we act now. Look at Gen X compared to the generation that's underneath us. And here, don't get me wrong. I get it, man. You know, stuff gonna evolve. But my evolution is not skinny pants and tight stuff. And
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's not my
We
evolution.
need them. We need them.
I'm not saying we don't need them. What I'm saying is some generations have a little bit more dog in them. Now, I also understand that the people before us gonna say that they had more dog in them than we did.
They did. They ate beans 40 years, bro.
I mean, but here, you know what the saying is. What it say? You say, tough men create easy times. Easy times create soft-ass men. Soft-ass men, again, create hard times. And hard times create that hard man again. It's just a vicious cycle. You got to figure out where you are in that cycle.
See, you didn't catch that. He didn't went into a Hard Times Dusty Road promo. It's hard times, daddy. Hard times.
Hey, no, that's the truth. But most people gonna say, "Well, I'm in the hard times part." No, you in the soft man part.
You're in the soft man part. Yeah,
that's where you're at. You in the soft part. Because it's the people ahead of us that had hard times for real. Because if we were born in
because listen to me. On a Sunday morning, we can all look at somebody who's doing worse than us and be thankful to God that we ain't that person. Oh. There's always somebody doing worse than you. And it ain't about the things we accumulated, because I've lost things in 2 floods, a tornado, everything. It ain't about the things we accumulate. It's about the life that we live. That's so at any given time, you can always look at somebody. Go ahead,
Hey, Coach, I only got one question, sir. Are we at a Pentecostal church or a Southern Baptist with God? I want to know where we at.
Well, we listen. This is just the book of Teddy. As y'all know me, this is the book of James. It's just my.
There you go. Give me verse 3:16.
That's it.
$2 I can send. You know what I just want to make sure.
Listen, it's just like Mr. Jenkins say. The Bible is a book that was transcribed by a bunch of Jews who saw stuff. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now, we seeing a lot of stuff. This conversation, this podcast, the other podcasts that we do, we got to have these conversations. I wish Weaver was on here, because these conversations are what's going to prepare us to make it through them soft times. Because once again, this is some soft shit we going through, everybody complaining and all this old bullshit, when we should be working together to figure it out on our own. But because everybody want to integrate instead of...
People tired, bro. People still ain't recovered from the pandemic. That's why motherfuckers ain't marching. They ain't burning shit down. They tired, bro. Motherfuckers is tired.
People fall for the trap of separation too much. I mean, you think about it like this. We all know somebody. We know 10 people who got $1,000. We could all call them 10 people with $1,000, put $1,000 in, get 10 grand, go buy some land out in southern or in western Missouri and start building on that land. We could build on that land one time, then do it again and do it again and do it again and turn it into a compound. You can come up with a 10-year, 15-year plan to where you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 homes on that land in a compound and protect what's yours. Easily we can do that.
Because if you can feed yourself, you got water, you got vegetables. If you can continue that cycle, you can take care of yourself without being in the bureaucracy of what the bullshit's going on.
Everything's more psychological now. They create distance and distractions to keep us separate because, I mean, here, man, again, this is your hand. All your fingers are separate. You can grab shit and you can do things, but guess what? If you really need some strength, you're going to have to unite your hand. You know, this is where your power comes from. But if I'm separate, I don't have as much power. So what we talked about before we got on, we can't even compliment each other without brothers getting jealous. We can't even say, good job, man, well done, without somebody being in their feelings and saying, why are you praising him and not me? That's the world that we live in right now. And the bad part is, it's a certain few people that know it. But even if you try me, I'm not fighting the battle. I'm gonna lose. I have no desire to go to war just to go to war. I'm not doing that. I don't see the point in that.
Well, you don't desire to be a community activist.
Yeah, I gotta win. Because why am I doing it for? Oh, for the future. You setting the table for, no, I'm not. I need to win and I need results now. So we can sit here and go back and forth and say what we need to do. But until 8 other 10 people agree, man, all we doing is rapping, and that's why everybody's separate. And that's why everybody chasing their own bag and everybody doing their own thing. Like Buck T said, you tired. You tired of trying to bring people together. You get tired of trying to motivate people. You get tired of trying to do things for people that's unappreciative, that's hard-headed and won't listen. But then guess what happens? Every now and then, you get somebody who will pay attention. Just like golf. You can go play golf and be the most shittiest golf player in the world. But if you hit one good shot, that's what makes you go back and play again. You're going to talk about that one shot out of 120, that one shot that you hit. That's what you focus on. I wish Weaver was on because I was going to hit him with this question. This is a question I got for y'all. This is a question that somebody has brought to my attention. But till you know this question, you've heard me ask it before. But the question is, here's the statement. Black people hate everything about slavery except for Christianity.
And this is exactly what I said. And Christians, just don't come for me. Because I like my boy say, you got to believe in the book for you to cast any of that stuff on me. So now I told my mom, I said, I don't like Christians. I said, they fake. I said, because the real Christians I know, like Reverend William Jenkins, he'll tell you, I have faith enough to believe in what these instructions are telling me, but I'm smart enough to know it may not be true. Now let's fast forward to 2026 to say, what does that really mean? I have faith in the Christ consciousness because I believe going inward, which is what I think the book was saying, the only way through to the Father is through me. He wasn't talking about entity, it's yourself going inward, right?
Correct.
So with that being said, I need to hear nothing else. If I'm made in this entity's image, that's it. And if the power is
I don't need any. That's right. You don't need to listen to man tell you about it.
Yeah, I don't need to listen. Like you said, it's the book of Ted, it's the book of Dave, it's the book of Brady. And the story through whether you look at the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, the Bible, or you can even go to Shintoism, Taoism, Buddhism. They're all individual stories about inner faith manifesting itself.
Or what they saw, what they think they saw happening, and it was about having faith, or these stories that were happening to the people of the land. That's all it was.
Correct. So with that being said, I don't need you to pray for me, fam, because I don't know what type of prayer you're doing. And I don't know who you praying to.
That's right. I don't know if you evil, I don't know what you is.
Everybody that's ever started with their Christian stuff with me has always been the first person to try to be in my pockets and do something crazy to me. But then talking about God bless you. Nah, nigga, I don't want your God bless me, bro. You
Don't get, hey, Christians, we ain't saying nothing bad, man. We just presenting facts and views, you know. I mean, what you think is what you think. Nobody gets demonized saying what they think.
No. It's just the fact that, once again, the church is just a building. That pastor is just delivering a message for the day. You have to interpret your life and understand what the Bible is. There's a story in the Bible for everything that everybody's going through. It happened back in 1700 and it's happening right now in 2026. It's just because people go through things. People have different ways of going about their lives with this belief of, because see, the biggest thing that we do that we take for granted is the next day. That we just automatically think we have the next day. And you know, I do insurance. Everybody in funeral homes, everybody don't have a next day. So that's the thing that people have to understand, and what brings us together, to have a faith, to believe in God and Jesus Christ. But like Brady said, I don't need you praying over me, man. I don't know what you doing when you go to the crib. So I just pray over myself and read the word myself. And I do it, you know, because I ain't going to heaven with you, but I damn sure might go to hell with you if I mess this up. So
is levels to stuff. And I think that prayer is levels to it as well.
No doubt.
So if you got, let's just take basketball. Some people are good, some people are not. So I think what we're saying is, when it comes to prayer, if you would happen to fall on the not good side, you can miss me with that. No problem. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate you want to, but here you got to remember that words have power. That's why the shit's called a spell. So if you say the wrong words, you can actually harm me. So my point is, you should be careful, you know, when it comes to that. How much truth do you think is in this statement? This is Nesby Moore 101. In the absence of knowledge is where faith and belief dwell.
That means I would say
the only reason you have faith and belief is because you don't know.
I would agree with part of that statement. In the absence of knowledge is where faith takes over.
What's going on?
There you go, B. There you go.
What's up with you, man?
What's going on?
Man, he had to go get some of that coffee and get his mind right. Look at
get his mind right, put on his glasses. Look, he had to comb his hair and everything. We just hot fresh out the bed.
Yeah, put the sponge on his head and put that just for men. Just a little,
Yeah, he just spun his hair.
Hey, man, I know y'all don't get this life. I know y'all don't get this full head of hair life.
And there ain't nothing but some carpet on your head. Don't get me started now. When you got that hairpiece in, that boy cleaned up.
That's that good weather down there. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't hear you now.
We can't hear you, bro.
Can't hear you.
Something happened. Nope.
You might have to jump out, bro, and come back in. I had to do that a couple times.
Bam. But no, what you think about this statement, Coach Ted?
Well, here's the thing. It's just like things evolve, like you were saying earlier, right? And so how we take slogans and how we take things that are said in one instance when in the early 1900s, how we look at it now is totally different. But Brady said, see, words mean everything. And like Brady said, when you're uneducated, that faith kicks in because your belief is that God and Jesus Christ are ordering your steps. So you have that unwavering faith so that you can continue to work through the everyday trials and tribulations that people go through when they're trying to live life. As the kids say, life be life. You know what I mean? And there's nothing that you can do about it. None of us are immune to it. So like Brady said, that's when faith is supposed to kick in, when you don't have the aptitude in order to figure out something as to the pertaining of a strategy within your life. So I totally agree. But once again, with the internet, and you can go to college now and you can go do all these things to educate yourself. When are we going to stop using that as an excuse? Because it's not an excuse anymore. You don't have to go spend $170,000 and get yourself in debt like I did to get a doctorate degree just so you can sit up here and talk shit. You can get right on Google or right onto one of these online platforms, get you some certifications, and make you $500,000 to $500,000 a year. There's no reason for them to tell us that lie no more, that you got to go to college. You don't have to. So when you look at the system and you understand what's going on with that, then we can make better decisions. There you go, Weave.
I hope y'all can hear me now.
Yeah,
we hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, let's catch him up. What first question was, Weaver. First question. Africans or African Americans or Black people, however you want to reference it.
All right.
Hate everything about slavery except for Christianity.
This is funny because I'm actually trying to rebuild my relationship with faith. And a large part of it is because I think somebody was, Dave, you was talking about sometimes faith can only exist in the absence of knowledge, right? And I think some of that is a little bit of hubris, right? There's a little bit of ego, right? In which I've had plenty of, in which I gotta know better than a maker, right? Because all my experience has been me overcoming obstacle after obstacle, building my brain, getting as much knowledge as I possibly can. But then the reality of it is I know a lot of my turnout hasn't been the result of my own efforts. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge. It's a little bit of my doing, of course, my parents and my ancestors' prayers and their provision, what they have given me. And then what I like to call something bigger. And the reason I have trouble subscribing into a religion or God because of the thing you're talking about, right? It's because of how religion has been used against my people specifically to restrain us from having access to wealth, health, all the things that we should have under God's provision and God's protection. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm also in a season where I'm trying to figure that out a little bit better for myself, right? What does it look like to have a faith or a background in what I call something bigger? Now, my old lady, she is super into, she a theologian, bro. She probably can talk I know pastors she literally has pastors who come talk to her, right? About scripture and about the word. But one of the things when we met, she noticed, she was like, it's not the foundations of belief that you're opposed to. It's how people have packaged them and given them to the world. So I think you're right in that we reject all of the tenets of slavery except Christianity. But I think that's also a function of being in the place where hope is all that you really can hang on to. Like, as a Black person,
that's right. That's all they had,
right? Hell, it's all you really can hang on to today, because as we see over the last couple of weeks, they are exploring all the options possible to dilute our experience into this world. So I understand why my people chose hope, because it was probably the only thing that kept your head high when you had no reason to be hopeful. I understand why my people chose faith. I just think we have to revisit it a little bit.
Can we expand on that?
Yes.
You said people and how they package the information. You say you remembered that some of it was your brain power. Some of the success you had is the prayers of our ancestors. Who talks about ancestral work? That would be, by Christianity, would be deemed devil worship or evil spirits, okay? Depending on which Christian. But if we take it a step further, your brain is the universal brain. Because if ash is ashes, dust to dust is true, we go back from whence we came. Yeah. Nothing that we have is truly ours. It is a collective of all of the experiences before manifested in front of us right now. This is how we're vibrating.
Yeah.
And this is how you know this is true. Have any of y'all had the opportunity to do improv with the group?
Yeah.
Okay. So in improv, it's something called group mind, which is available here. which is actually saying when two or more people come in my name, I am here. The I is us. So when we start taking the packaging away and breaking it down to what it is, we are the gods. Some guys is good, some guys is bad, but we are the universal force manifested, period. Now, what we do with that power will be determined by our egos. So I'm with you,
And let me go a step beyond that, Buck. Consciousness or recognizing, what I do is I say, okay, let's go back in history and look at actually what really happened. Like what happened to our people. And then you see the offenses that happen and maybe how heinous they are, how horrible they are. See, Ma'at is an Egyptian goddess, which means balance. So if I see how heinous the offenses are, that makes me ask the question, what are you trying to prevent from happening? There has to be something that makes you do that or go to that extreme. So what is it that you may not want us, me, you to recognize about self?
Economic.
You see what I mean? So
economic.
What is it about us?
Economics. It's not about you as a person. It's about if I can separate you all as people. Every other religion, Jews, if you're Jewish, you're Jewish. If you're Catholic, you're Catholic. If you're Mexican, you're Catholic.
Yeah, but so my point is,
the only
somebody only gonna press us like that.
Religions.
Somebody's only gonna press us like that if they're trying to keep us from recognizing how powerful, how special, how talented, how gifted you are. Because guess what, brother? You don't play defense on somebody on the basketball court if they're not good.
If they can't
when
shoot.
do you play boxing one?
It's called social.
You have an exceptional talent there because you're trying to prevent them from beating you. So now that you know that and you see the offenses that was done, when do you think we'll be able to overcome that mentality to say, hey man, I might just be talented and special and gifted. I may have some sauce that I don't recognize. So maybe it's for me to search for me to be the best version of myself.
Here's the overcoming. I think here's the overcoming of that. When we realize that everything that we do is about social economics, okay? Nothing in this country you can separate anything from money. Religion is tied to money. That's one of the ways that's one of the reasons why you have 506s. The NFL, the MLB, and the NHL are a 501c. And then they have these owners who agree to spend money in their towns as a nonprofit to increase entertainment and sport. When you realize that the churches bring in more money to this country than any other institution besides the government, you realize that the separation is about economics. It's all about money. That's all it's ever been, okay? Yeah. The religion was the hope to get you through the bullshit. That's all it was. And then we, as Black folk, separated that 6 more times into 6 different religions when everybody else just got one. It doesn't make sense, bro. But because they want us to be divided. Go ahead, Rob.
But I agree with what you're saying. I'm actually reading this book called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. And anywhere where you had, I agree with what Teddy said, anywhere where capitalism is the main structure of how things get moved, money affects everything. It ain't a thing that it doesn't affect. But I want to take it back to something you were saying, Dave, about how do we stop? I don't think we ever, there's this myth and this notion that despite how we are in this country, especially in America, that we do not fight back or we do not overcome or we haven't aspired or accomplished all these things. Like even in the midst of everything we've endured, we still have, even in the midst, right? People don't understand how horrific slavery is. We get the very watered down, clean version. You understand how horrible and how cruel you had to be to create a system that keep the majority, the people who had the numbers on their side, uprising against you. And there was plenty of uprisings, plenty of black people died and said, I ain't doing this.
They won't tell you that.
But they won't tell you that part of the story. So I'm always arguing like the Harlem Renaissance occurred during this country's most devastating economic trial, the Great Depression, right? So black people have always been able to make a lot of sense. Like we put out some of the greatest music, history, art, culture possible during the entire country's worst time. That tells you how resilient and powerful that we are, which then leads to what you're saying, Dave. If you have to give somebody a religion that restricts that in any way, what are you really trying to keep them? Brady is on it as well. I'm much more inclined to have a Wakanda kind of religion than I am anything else, right? Where we are just repurposing everything that was already here to ash, dust to dust, right? Where I can go look at my my ancestors for guidance and not some imaginary made up person who don't even look like he's supposed to look like in most pictures, right?
Yeah, none of it lines up. How you gonna tell me what
I don't mean to cut you off.
Don't even line up. What'd you say, Ted?
Hold on. Let me explain something to y'all. Have you ever heard a politician ask for the Chinese or the Korean vote? Have you ever heard them politic for those voters? You know why they don't? Because they don't even spend, they're in our country and they don't even spend money with us. Yeah. They don't vote. Some of them vote. But the thought process of that is we have wanted integration for so long when segregation is what we need to survive. We survived amongst ourselves, spent our dollars amongst ourselves. Why is it that we want to live this white lifestyle when they love our lifestyle? Why do we do this? It makes no sense to me that we can't hold our...
Well, that training starts early. You know how you know that training starts early? Look at the people on this call, right? All four of us went to a predominantly white institution. That training of coveting them and what they have outside is done very, very early. Now, as I start going back to I don't want to live in communities that ain't nothing but black. I don't want to do nothing on the weekends that ain't nothing but black. But you know what I also have to struggle with? I'm dealing with an educational system in Texas, which is ranked at the bottom on a regular basis. And so then I got to go out and do what's right by my kids educationally. And you know what that means? I'm putting them in WI, right? So you're absolutely right. I think a lot of the things, Teddy, that we were sold, I think Brown versus Board of Education was one of the worst things that ever happened to our community, because all it did was let them go out and poach the Teddys, the Daves, the Bradys out of their community, along with the amazing teachers out of that community, and put them in and dilute and water down our communities to a degree that we couldn't use all our collective mind share for our advance, right? And so I think it starts early of why do you not want your own, like I'm in a school that is predominantly, that's money-wise Jewish folk, and Lord, I have not seen somebody flex their power financially like I have in this, like they run it hard. And it's interesting to see, Teddy, because they do vote and move as a collective unit within this society, and I think that's the only thing that's going to protect us.
What you're saying, Buck?
I was going to bring up somebody that we all either were taught by or influenced through, all of us on there. I don't know how many of y'all still talk to Reverend Jenkins. I still talk to him probably once a month. I'll reach out to him. And I remember about 15 years ago when I was struggling during the transition, I went to him. I was like, man, I'm struggling, mentally trying to work through the corporate structure. He said, I'm going to tell you something. He goes, y'all generation, we failed y'all. Now, this is a brother who is all black, right? Undergrad, HBCU, master's, HBCU, still living the cut, ain't never moved, right? He said, y'all got mesmerized by their wealth. He goes, but what you didn't realize, their wealth was community-based. He goes, I'm going to show you why all the Black Americans that moved out to the suburbs won't be as wealthy as they could be if they stayed in their neighborhood. He goes, Brady, what's the average mortgage of West County? He said, let's say it's $2,000 a month. Okay. So let's, for easy math, that's 25,000 a year. You know how Mr. Jenkins. Now, you know that's not 25. That's only 2,000 before the example. We're gonna use 25. Amen. Amen. Okay, so we at 25,000. Right. Then he said, take that out 30 years. How much is that, bro? Right. He said 750,000, sir. He goes, there's your multi-million-dollar status right there, because if you're investing that over time, we know the stock market has done 8% over the lifetime. So there's your $1 million that you were chasing in their communities. He's like, you wonder why? He's like, you think I couldn't move out to West County? He's like, I stayed here because I was educated by Black folks. I'm gonna educate other Black folks, and my wealth is in my community.
And it's interesting because I saw that man as adversarial, right? Why you always on us like this? Dude literally stayed 3 blocks away from me. I'm on Bayard and Page. He on
Newberry Terrace and Taylor.
Right? And in hindsight,
I go over there once a week. I still talk.
I should have been at his doorstep every day, but I didn't see it because I was mesmerized by that other culture, right? And I don't blame my folks for it because they did the best they could for what they had resource-wise. But you're absolutely right. It's those kind of people. One of the reasons I'm not with the mother of my children now is because I was like, I'm not moving to these communities. We see this differently, right? I'm not moving to these communities. I want to live in spaces where I will be Mr. Jenkins. Right, where I would have little Black kids wondering how I accumulated what I got, wondering why I got walked the way I walked. But it starts so early, man. We start teaching our kids. I'm really struggling with that right now with my kids because I know this education thing is good for them. It's beneficial to them. But God, I need you to go to HBCU. On the weekends, I do not care about their parties. I do not care. I don't got to go to y'all birthday parties. I want them going to little cousin parties. I want them in the gym with their people. I was doing my open run event in one of the whitest YMCAs in the city. And I looked around, I'm like, I'm in here every Sunday, and this is the blackest time in this place because their people wouldn't even participate in a positive thing like someone coaching up their kids, giving them discipline, dedication, and determination through sport, right? But they wouldn't even join in on it. I actually got complaints about it every week. So it's interesting now. And I think Mr. Jenkins is absolutely correct. They did fail us, right? By saying, they should have made us go to HBCUs. They should have made us go to Sodan and Sumner but it is very difficult to do that when you in an oppressive kind of capitalistic society that we live in. It's just very hard to make that decision. I wish what would have happened is all the 10 of us, 12 of us, right, would have put a plan together. This is what I'm going to teach my son. Look, you got 5, 6 buddies. Y'all all going to end up in the same city. Go blah to blah. I don't care what hood it's in. Y'all protect yourselves, but go by the block.
I don't know if y'all remember this, but my senior year, prior to that, I talked Dave and Femi and Sean Carvins and Chink into going to Tallahassee the year before we all graduated. And it's because I knew that I was not going to go to any other place besides FAMU. Now, I came up, I think Rob, all of us had our families owned businesses when we were in high school. Mm-hmm. So for me, I knew that economics, that business side of me was not going to be nurtured at another institution besides, because and then I don't know if you all remember this, I was so tired of that white oppression. I didn't even play for Parkway North in the state game. I didn't play in the All-Star game. I didn't do any of that. We graduated on June 3rd, and I was moving to Tallahassee June 7th to play spring ball. I was done with folks. I was done with people. I was done with Parkway North. I was done with those white folks because they were using us. And I realized that early. You understand what I'm saying? So that for me was a understanding that early.
I definitely
was a catalyst. Even when I got to you, I still went to Florida State. I went to Florida State my senior year, and I went back to Florida.
Do you think that?
Go ahead, Rob.
Do you think that college actually prepares you for real life scenarios? And I mean real life scenarios, not that lollipop silly shit. I mean real life scenarios.
My lady was talking to my son the other day, and he said, she was asking about school, and he said, I probably get more out of just hanging out with my dad all day long and following him around and watching him around, right? In hindsight 2020, well, I'm double degreed up and all the debt that comes along with it, right? Yes, I know for a person, if somebody would have given me a better advanced understanding of how to apply who I am to this world, there was no reason for me to go to school. I was self-guided in learning, self-motivated. Somebody should have understood that my ability to speak to people was a career in itself, right? It was a asset in itself. And so it's hard because, but like Teddy say, it's structural, right? So you gotta have that piece of paper to matriculate through this world, or you gotta be exceptionally lucky or exceptionally well-funded behind you. Jeff Bezos, all you other white billionaires who dropped out of colleges.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be exceptionally self-funded because nobody tells the Elon Musk story about how he inherited all his wealth and how Trump inherited all his wealth and how Bezos got a $400,000 loan from his daddy. Like anybody could be. I wish you would have gave me 400 stacks. I would have been able to flip that one way or the other. Like I would have been able to do that somehow. Right. Into one of my harebrained ideas.
But you gotta look at it like this. You gotta look at it like this. Black folks just been able to get money. Black folks have been able to get money in the last 60 years. 60 years is in the last 60 years, that's the only time where Black folks has able to really accumulate wealth.
No, I'm gonna push back on that.
Mama and them is 80. You understand what I'm saying? We 48. There was no advantage. We didn't have that. They didn't have a chance to build that inheritance for us. Now, I was fortunate enough. Go ahead.
We've been getting money since the beginning of time. Once chattel slavery ended, we've been getting money. That's why they had to collectively come back against us. So
that's why Rosewood had to happen. That's why Tulsa had to happen.
Yeah, all of that. You look at the race riots across the country. They happened after we were empowered and we're using the trades to go get money. So it's a fallacy to say we don't have the ability or have not done it. Every time we do it, we come up against this force. So there was a guy, and I also believe this. Now, this is the wild stuff I didn't say that Mr. Jenkins said. I was like you did. I was done. When Coach Gon pulled me into that office and told me out of his mouth that Coach Staub told all the D1 schools that came and looked at all of us that we were not ready. He wasn't going to vouch for us. I was done. I hated Coach Staub for years. I just forgave him about 10 years ago. In my dream, my spirit said, let that boy go. It's not serving. So here's what I'm going to say to that. I went to Mr. Jazz, said, man, I need to go to a HBCU. Which one's the best one to go to? You know what he told me? No, you're not. We educate you to go compete at the highest level so you can then come back to our neighborhoods with all of the information. The same way all the foreigners come here and get educated and then they go back to their country. So I think we do need education, but I think it needs to be tailored to, pun intended, tailored to economic empowerment of the community.
Look how differently, the one thing that's standing out to me right now is look how differently we all were raised. Now, I know Ted since I was like 6.
That's right.
So I was raised, like when we were in first grade, remember we had the books with the pictures and then it taught us about slavery, right? So when I went home, I talked to my dad. I'm like, I need slavery. I don't know what answer you got, but the answer I was, son, don't worry about that. If African-American history was a 100-page book, slavery be on page 99. It's a whole lot of other shit that's way more important than that. So to me, when they used to start to teach us about it, I went to New City. So New City down in Water, that's a predominantly white school. You could probably count the Black folks on one hand, maybe two. But when they start talking about it, it used to bother me. And I used to ask questions like, what about the other stuff? And the teacher's like, well, we're talking about this. I said, but this don't make me feel good. So what about the other stuff? Like the rich one? I said, like the rich ones. And I'm like, this guy right here that I know that I learned from my father. So I didn't necessarily know that we weren't supposed to be successful. I had no...
Hell no, because you had an elevator in your house. We used to go to his house to play in the elevator.
But the aspect of greatness was always there. So ask yourself this question. You know my upbringing. You know what happened. Why am I not lazy? Why am I not someone who just sits back and does nothing? It's because in order to be successful, he had rules, boundaries, and limitations. Cool, son. You want that?
Yeah.
You better have this GPA. You better be this as far as sports. You better do this, and this, or you get nothing. It was always a negotiation.
But
our baseball team.
But you always had an
played on the baseball team, right? This man's expectation was don't lose. And if we don't lose, what do we get? We get everything. We get the new uniforms. We get the pro stuff.
We get anything we want.
The shoes, the bags. But you have to win. You don't get anything without winning. You have to earn it. You have to put your work in. You have to do the little bitty things that the person next to you is not doing. So if you don't know that you're supposed to lose, if you don't know that this person over here is attempting to hold you down because of some mentality, do you think that makes it easier, or do you think that will make it harder for that child to be successful?
I think my perspective is I got sat on the couch early watching Eyes on the Prize on Thursday nights and popped in the back of the head when I fell asleep. And hindsight being 2020, I wish my dad got sick, so that changed the course of our education, right? So where I would have known had he not gotten sick and had to pour all this energy into that, and my mom had to then subsequently pour all her energy into protecting and providing for the family, the education that he had me on would have been very similar to what you say you experienced, Dave. Problem is, health came in, right? And then he didn't have the energy to keep going down that path. So what became the primary means of me being educated? Parkway, right? And so I got pushed off that path due to things that he couldn't foresee or wouldn't know that was coming.
So
So I got pushed off that path. So I had to, now it's like, okay, I'm going to sign up for this subscription service into whiteness, right? And as long as I'm paying my fees, I should be able to play Netflix and watch it every time. But then it got to a point, I made a post recently because of what they did at the University of Missouri with respect to defunding all of the cultural organizations. I posted a picture of me sitting on the steps protesting. It's 23 years later. I've been out of school for 23 plus years now, and they still going through those circumstances. Still pushing. And now it's even worse because back then we was getting funded. Like at least we were getting the resources that were ascribed to us through all the legislation that they now turn the fuck up, right? But it just made me be like, damn, Mr. Jenkins is right. We were sold a dream. We should have been getting taught at Rosewood and Tulsa and all the countless. Those are the ones we know. There are countless examples of what we built being torn down, like Brady said, using those trades, those skills, those things that we can do with our hands and building up our lives. There was countless examples about that we didn't get taught. And now they made a world that it's even harder to teach those things to your kids because of how hard you have to fight in order to exist in this world. Like, I'm sure everybody on this call is in the top 5% of earners in the country, right? Maybe top 10% now because of inflation and the dollar having less value. And I'm sure y'all wake up like I do every day. Like, what can I do to have more so I can have an easier life in this world, so I can sit down sometime and not always be working? So not only did they disadvantage us by taking away our history, not teaching us what we were and who we are, but then they created a structure that made it harder to use what we actually learned. And now that's what our children are facing. And I'm very, very afraid for them because there's 40, 35-year-old, 30-year-old people who will never touch home ownership because of the world that's created for them.
Costs too much.
It costs too much.
Yeah, and it costs too much.
Can I tell you?
Relationships eat harder than
listen. I'm a part of a group, right? And all I can tell y'all is that we as a people need to save our money, get your credit straight, and you can train any robot and you can lease that robot out to whatever you want to do. Now, I can't say no much more than that, okay? But I'm telling you this, get you some money, buy you some robots, and figure out the people around you that need help, and you can place that robot with somebody that need help. And I promise you're going to make more money than you ever thought you was going to make. That's all I can tell you.
But unfortunately, the front end of that has become so difficult, right? The front end of get you some money.
No, it ain't. No, bro. It ain't. Listen, I'll house your robot. Robots right now are $150,000. They're $200,000. Elon Musk is giving a discount right now for the next 3 years. You can buy a robot for $75,000. You just got to learn how to train it
to people.
So Ted, you know how $5,000 is?
Right, you just said it like
the average person.
They go spend $75,000 on a bullshit used Aston Martin. They go buy used Aston Martins for $75,000. But you can pay it off in time too. He gonna give you a payment plan.
But that's not
you can get a payment plan.
That's not the standard. Like the guys who are going out there and doing those egregious kind of purchases are still like the top 2% of the community, right? But what I'm talking about is I like to stay in the big part of the bell curve, right? Because a lot of times we talk about the outliers, right?
Stay in the normal distribution, right?
Right. We talk about the people under that big part, and the big part of that curve, working 2 jobs to pay 1 rent with 4 people in the house. They probably not in a relationship, and a lot of financial wealth comes through the pairing of the partnership of a man and a woman. They just don't have the time. They're leaving South Dallas at 6 a.m. to get to a job in North Dallas by public transportation that takes them 2 hours to get there. They come home, they get off at 5, they don't get home till 7, and you want them to go out and find $75,000 for a robot. Like what we have to do is make a society that has an easier means of existing. I'm not talking about striving and thriving and becoming the top 10%. I'm talking about $45,000 a year should allow for you to have a decent life. Not no hard life where you got to work more than 40 hours a week. Like $45,000 a year. Do you know what? I tell my mama that's what I made my first year out of college. She almost passed out. I was broke. I was still calling home to pay rent because I was living in Chicago and I was spending a lot of that money on things I spent in the country, right? But I'm just saying when we talk about these situations, we have to talk about them for the standard person and not the person who you've been exposed to a whole lot of different things. You were a business owner, like you said, you were slanging t-shirts in college. You still slanging them today. Like those things are unique in a society. What I want is for the person who says, I'm just going to get up. And there used to be a world like this. There used to be a GM world like this, a Chevy world like this, a place where you can go and I'm going to go work 8 hours and come home and not only pay for my one mortgage, but also have a vacation home. Like that's the world we used to live in which you being my homeboy, my freshman year of college, Chris Ford, his dad worked for the oil rigs. I didn't understand how wealthy these dudes were, right? But even those don't exist anymore because of machines and because of the way we set up the economy. So I'm just saying, when we talk about our ideas, we also have to make sure that they are in reach of the standard person and not the person who, for all intents and purposes, is willing to overcome everything, because everybody doesn't have that aptitude. They don't. To make a regular world for regular people, and then the extra people go out and do the extra stuff.
Buck T, what do you think the age of accountability is? And what I mean by that is the age that you reach where there is no more excuses. There is no more somebody did this to me.
It's different.
You asking the hard.
Life was life and none of that.
Okay.
What's that age and what does that look like?
He set me up because we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm having some issues with hiring younger folks to come into commercial truck driving and then school them and be a model for them, right, to move forward. When we was coming up, we can tie it to insurance. Your insurance rates for driving go down at 25 because you're supposed to be mature. Right. So I would say 25 from our generation and older. And then older, it was probably 18. You know what I'm saying? But now, one of my youngins, I pretty much raised this dude. He is now 30, I believe. He's been around me for years. He said to me out of his mouth, "Hey, Buck, man, we ain't gonna get grown till we hit 40. And then I looked at him and I started looking at all the kids in the neighborhood because I'm like Mr. Jenkins. I live in the neighborhood. And I started thinking all the youngins I know that was part of the Slate program that I hired when I had my food court business. I hired 10 young brothers from the age of 14 and 18. And only one of them stuck with me. 2 were dead. Most I've lost contact with. But the one he stuck with, he still ain't matured. And he's a good kid. And I can't believe I'm calling a 30-year-old man a kid. But I think it's 40. Right. And that's sad that we didn't got, going back to what we started with, this soft that you can exist in a society and still give excuses up to 40 years old. You crazy, bro. That would have never happened. We get out.
Okay, well, that's got to go back to Rob. Rob, that's the dad's thing. What, because how does that work? Because I'm not giving no 30-year-old no. Listen, if you coming to work for me as a consultant or an insurance agent or some shit, and you 30 years old, man, I'm not doing that shit that Brady talking about. Because you can make me lose my business.
But so yes, I think there isn't an age at all. I think accountability is a result of experiences. It's a result of having the opportunity to develop that skill. I don't think it's an age at all. And I think the way, again, the world we have created doesn't allow for them to, let's take sports, for example. I grew up in World Recreation Center on Martin Luther King's Highway, right? Self-sufficient. I got up in the morning. I would walk up there. I had $3 in my pocket for the White Castle on the way back. And I would be in there all day.
That's right. And the Chinaman,
right? I would be in there all day navigating that environment by myself. Kids I didn't know, potential fights, good friendships, other adults. Like I had to navigate that environment by myself, then walk home and make sure I didn't take the streets that could end up in fights, right? I was navigating all that stuff at 10 years old. The mother of my children won't let my son ride his bike to the YMCA 8 minutes away. 8 minutes away.
We live in a different time. Live in a different time.
I would ride my bike and I'd be on the south side for hours. Bike, right? So when I thought of that, a lot of that accountability, a lot of that stuff that we ask of these children, we never developed an environment that they can gain those skill sets, that they can go out and acquire those things. And now you're wondering why you have to provide for them into their late 20s is because you never set up an environment for them to be able to excel on their own. I see
late 30s because I'm the only one on here with a 30-year-old. I'm the only with a 30-year-old, a 25-year-old, and an 17-year-old. So I'm telling you that you're absolutely right, Rob. We didn't create
that, right? We didn't create that space for them to acquire those skills, and now we're asking them to be accountable and judging them, like really judging them. Well, you wouldn't know how to tie your shoes at 40 if nobody never taught you how to tie your shoes. Right?
Do you think that's because the phrase, I don't want them to go through what I went through?
That's bullshit.
Comes into play?
I do think some of that is in play.
It's bullshit.
Why you say that's bullshit,
It's complete BS. We've just said it. And in psychological terms, this is called modeling. And Dave knows this gentleman that I'm going to mention. Everybody know my dad wasn't college educated. I don't even think he graduated high school.
Hell yeah.
But y'all all know my dad always had some type of business going somewhere because he got around guys. When he was in high school, there was some cats named George and Lee Ward on the west side that was driving Rolls Royces. They owned liquor stores. My dad said, I want to be like them, so I'm going to go hang out with them. He worked for them, learned the liquor business, and then went and opened his own stuff because it was modeled. Okay, when I would hang out with my old man, I got to know who Colonel Clifton Gates is. Before Dave Stewart, it was Colonel Clifton Gates. You might be saying, who's that, B? Well, think Gateway Bank.
Right.
Think Lord Distributing, because he had the Miller distributorship in town. I would go sit in this man's office. He'd be like, hey, young man, what you want to do? I said, whatever you do.
He was the only person that would take liquor to black folks.
Yep.
So Colonel
he was the only person that would take liquor to black folks, bro.
Colonel Clifton Gates, and then Dr. Andrew D. Spencer, who was off of the Bolivar by the old Magic 108. was the second brother or third brother I saw with a Rolls Royce. He had 2. Now, why I said it's bullshit is one simple reason, and we've all alluded to it. You have to go through the tough stuff. Flat out. If you don't go through the tough stuff, how can you be forged?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Anything that was that easy never was good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing this with Duke right now. Yeah. Duke was on the AAU EYBL team for the last couple years. And it's the only, they will go around demolishing people, man. 40-point wins, yada, yada, yada. I'm looking at this like, this is trash, right? And there was only 2 or 3 teams that they ever had any struggle with. Same 2-3 teams. We know the boys, yada, yada, yada. So this year, we took them off that EYBL team. I put them back into regular rec ball, but I'm making them play 8th grade, right? Talking about what you're saying, Brady, in terms of creating strife. Like, I know you good, and I know you can play with these boys, but they still a foot taller with you, and they stronger than you. So you're going to have to
get your ass kicked a little bit. Get your ass kicked a little bit.
Right. And you're going to lose a lot more games so that you don't,
That's right.
Have to endure what that feels like and have to come back, right? But we have set up a world that is very bubbled, very cushioned. And so when we then judge the kids, we first must judge ourselves, right? And that's the thing that I'm trying, because I definitely much had that attitude of like, man, you just gotta tough this shit out. Like, you'll be all right. Like, your dad here, your daddy present, your mama present, but what we don't understand is that a lot of that forging happened in circumstances that we won't even allow our kids to be in anymore. I have a basketball hoop at the end of my block. It's been there. It's a cul-de-sac. We got a cul-de-sac. You should literally be running full-court games at this point versus the crate that I learned to hoop on.
The crate, man, you had to come on. We had a wheel.
Right. You
had a rim,
right? And so
you had the milk crate. You had the milk crate.
But they don't play on it. I've never seen a kid play on it. In 5 years, I've never seen a kid play on it at all. Like,
they're playing video games.
It's because they playing video games, right? Another thing I just did is I took my son's phone away from him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And his game away from him. And I'm like, you're just going to have to survive this summer. Jumping fences. Go fucking jump a fence, bro. Like, go climb a tree.
Go outside.
Go be doing something in some backyard and somebody yell out and you got to run now because you ain't even supposed to be out. Go do some of those things where you have to navigate yourself out of a situation, because those little situations is how you learn how to navigate bigger situations. And so what we have is a ton of kids who are moving into a world where they have to navigate the big situations, but they never got the opportunity to navigate the little small one. Like, I'm glad I had to deal. I was y'all remember, I was a smaller kid when I was in high school. Glad I had to navigate dealing with, or being a smaller kid, because it created this monster of an attitude that I have about myself and who I am today. But if I had not had those experiences, I probably would have been meek. I probably would have just went and worked for the IRS for the rest of my life in a very mundane role, hoping to get the same 1% raise every year, right? And because of those situations,
boy, the older you get, you look like your brother. I swear to God, the older you get, you look like your brother.
Yeah, man. Trust me. He lost his. I tell him that's why my parents like me best. They like
his hair piece, man. With control, boy.
It says strong men create easy times. Easy times create soft men. Soft men create hard times.
Yep.
And then hard times create hard men, and then we repeat the process.
And we going through that.
Yeah. Personally, I think that when you say that statement and the following question is, where do you fall in that process? And a lot of people gonna say, well, I'm in the hard times part, when truthfully, you in the soft men part.
Right. And creating softer men.
And it's what we're doing is we're repeating the cycle. And that statement I said earlier from parents, I don't want my kids to struggle like I did. My own man, I think he had like 6th grade education, but he was able to amass a whole lot of stuff because he had a little bit of dog in him. And again, I absolutely don't think that he knew he wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah.
Because it was like the most amazing thing you ever seen, man, to watch somebody just go through life expecting shit to happen. Like really expect. I mean, you know what I mean? Like
your daddy wasn't expecting shit to happen. He made shit happen. Your daddy made shit happen, boy.
Expectation, because I have never literally never in my life seen someone who just is made to win. Just no matter what, all the times, I'm gonna do what I want.
Listen to me. I have a great father. I have a great father, but your father made it happen. Your daddy took that, what Robert talking about, he took that anger, he took that political presence, he took his job, and he made shit happen. Some of us don't have no excuses.
Go beneath the surface on that so we can circle back to the beginning. And I got to jump, unfortunately, folks. But I want to go back and reel it back in. This conversation started on faith.
It did.
And I'll say this. The most successful people I know have an unwavering faith in their ability to figure it out. Now, I don't know this because if they were latchkey kids like us in the house by ourselves at 8, 9 years old, and we ain't gonna answer the door. So we ain't gotta worry about nobody coming in because you ain't gonna know nobody here. And if you come in, you might get shot. We got pistols that don't have no locks on them. We got 9. So that's different. The ones before us, they was working at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Yeah. So the unwavering belief in self, that same faith is what we were talking about. Blacks love everything, hate everything about slavery except for Christianity because of the faith piece. If we took the same amount of faith that we put into teachings that were given to us and put it into ourselves, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation on this wonderful Sunday morning.
There you go. Hey, last question, Bucky. I know you gotta go. We'll wrap it up. Everybody this. What's your definition of freedom?
For me, especially with the kids in the age range, for me, freedom is actually having choice. Like some of the reasons that I'm pursuing the financial goals that I want to have is so I can have the choice to go to a basketball game for my son instead of going to a business meeting or work, right? So for me, freedom is absolutely about having choice. And I think most of us, our lives are scripted for us with very little choice at all. You got to get up and do these same things every day so that somebody else can have freedom and choice, right? So for me, my definition of freedom is actually having the ability to choose between two things, right? And I don't think a lot of us have that at all.
Facts. Buck T.
Brady.
I echo what we were saying. It's the freedom of choice to move how you want. Nothing gives me more joy. I haven't had the fortune of having any kids that I know of. But all jokes aside, being able to move around. If I want to hop on a plane and go somewhere for a weekend, I ain't got to think about it. I just book the flight and I roll out. If I don't want to work for a week or two, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that freedom to move around and not be tied to a pattern that's been created for us, which doesn't allow one to tap into their God power. Because what we forget, what the Bible teaches and Buddhism, Taoism especially teaches is when you block the energetic flow, the natural pace of things, you eliminate the God principle inside you, and that's of creation. God has to flow through you. If you were blocking it with ego, you can't go within and allow God to send you the answers you're looking for, because going back to group mind, all of the answers are in the ether and we all have access to it. But like we've said, if you work in 2 jobs and you leave the crib at 6 a.m., but you don't get back to 7, where's the energy for the God power?
Ain't no choice in that.
Gone.
No choice. And that programming, going back to modeling, starts from the DSEG program. You getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock to catch the bus out. I didn't realize until my parents had separated.
Sure.
I had to move back with my mom back in Walnut Park with my grandmama. I'm being the bus out every once in a while. And I'm like, man, y'all gotta get up this early. When we was at Craig, we was go down the street. I could walk to school. But in that same time we were in grade school together, a couple of times I had to catch the bus out. I'm like, man, I don't know how y'all can go to practice.
Yeah.
Keep a good GPA. So I know I said a lot. It goes back to having time, the freedom to experience God's true healing power.
Coach Ted, what's your definition?
You know, guys, my life has taken, I get it. My life has taken a different turn in what I think about freedom. I'll tell you this. I was told the other day something that I didn't realize, that I haven't filed a tax return to get any money back in 15, 20 years. And, I may not be able to do all the things that I want to do at every second, but it's because I'm looking out for the people that help me do what I'm doing, and I pay people and we're doing what we're supposed to do. So freedom for me is more so a situation that I look at as a commodity in this sense. I personally am just blessed because nothing that I'm doing has anything to do with me. It has everything to do with me, but it has nothing to do with me, how I even got to be able to do the things that I'm doing. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, being able to connect with my friends, y'all, right? Us having these conversations, me being able to get up every day, and yeah, I might have meetings that, like, Dave, we got to get up and we got to get to the dealership at 6 a.m. and get everything going. But I don't necessarily have to do that. But because of the ecosystem that I've created, I got to do that, right? So that's freedom to me. Being able to work with everybody, being able to create these incubators or these systems or this conversation, us as to be able to move forward freely. Because once again, like you, Dave, I'm not a community activist. Rob, I'm not a community activist. Economics, social economics, I want us to thrive. And so at the end of the day, for me, it's kind of a blessing. Well, it is a blessing that I get to be able to pay my bills and still do stuff like this, and still be able to build, and then still be able to help other businesses that I work with as a consultant, because that in itself is pushing our agenda forward.
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm not a civil rights activist, but what we're talking about, somebody has to do it to push it forward.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like I've been called to do. So that's my blessing. That's my my prayer, to be able to continue to do that and then not hinder me personally. Because I am the one, once again, I got 3 kids, man. I got adult kids, bro. My adult kids are going through it.
Yeah.
Like what y'all talking about. Like, because, shit happening. You know what I mean? And their lives, but I'm able to give guidance through, because they are in different industries, but I've been in those and I know the lay of the land. So for me, it's a blessing, bro, that I'm able to just give them guidance and just be able to navigate them through that system until I can actually be able to have the system totally done to say, everybody just come on. Here's a check for you.
There you go. There you go. Right on.
So that's
I'll label it in 2 ways, right fast too. Freedom to me is the ability to provide a stable environment for those who are important to you in this life and beyond. For when you're here and when you're not. That in itself, if you can achieve that in your lifetime, that gives you the ability and freedom to go to the next part, which is, because the most important thing to me, man, is make sure that the people, my family, is taken care of whether I'm here or not. If I'm gone, don't nobody have to do nothing. You do what you still want to do. Like my presence is still here. That's very important to me. Very important to me. The second part of that is I've only experienced it a few times in my life, man, where if you've ever been on a vacation and maybe you were sitting on the beach, man, maybe it was like 9 in the morning and you just got your head and put it down like this for a second, and then you just nodded off. And then when you woke up, you realized it had been 4 hours. So time didn't mean anything to me. I became time's master. The ability to not have to worry about time is the definition of freedom to me.
That's huge, yeah.
You know what I mean? And if we're blessed,
that's huge.
If blessed enough just to get that a few times in our life, man, that is a blessing. Because we've all been in that time. You can even get to it when you are the master of time. Imagine we playing basketball and you need 1 free throw. Know how when you get to the free throw line and you don't hear nothing, you don't hear nothing. You don't see nothing in front of you. You don't see none of that. And all it is
and I watched you hit a free throw to win it.
Hey, it's just you and that rim, and you like, basically, I'm finna make this rim my bitch right now.
Yeah.
You in the hoop.
Yep.
That's it.
Very few times in our life
I missed the free throw. But y'all hit
that's
y'all.
right, free.
Hey man, I gotta get going. I got some breakfast to take some ladies to for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day for all y'all people too.
Happy Mother's Day.
Tell all the ladies in your life happy Mother's Day.
Tell your mother I said happy Mother's Day. Tell your mom I said happy Mother's Day. You got your ass.
I love you, brothers. I'm glad we did this, man. Let's do it again. Yeah. Probably not an Don't do it again.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
All right.
Look, self-made entrepreneur, no manure. I'm number one. Goose down, jacket, maverick, top gun. Do it B.I.G. like Biggie, big pun. Look, people can.